In today's lesson, we see a people who, despite God's love for them, have created a priority system that is out of touch with the reality of the God who brought them from exile. The prophet Haggai called them to repent for their actions. The Lord had provided wondrously for the children of Israel. They had sinned against him. Yet he had mercy and promised to deliver them from the hands of their captives. He gave careful instruction to them through the prophets on how and when to build the temple. Yet the Lord's house was not rebuilt. God was waiting for Israel to get their act together and prepare and build again. He was also perhaps waiting until they were settled in their own homes after being held captive for so long. There had to be a period of adjustment. That period of adjustment, however, had long passed, and God was waiting for his people to complete the temple, which brings us to our key verse for today, which reads, "Why are you living in luxurious houses while my house lies in ruins?" Haggai chapter 1, verse 4. Haggai's first words to the people attack their excuse for not completing the temple building project. He begins by addressing the people as this people rather than my people, since they have neglected his service. They do not deserve to be his people. The prophet used the same phrase as a term of reproach. That time, or the proper time for rebuilding the temple, had not come, was the excuse the people used to explain their neglect of God's work. They claimed that the interruption in the work caused by their enemies proved it was not yet the proper time to rebuild the temple. However, their real motive was selfish dislike of the trouble, expense, and danger from enemies. Now that Darius, who was sympathetic to their cause, was king, there was no excuse for not beginning the work at once. The people would not prosper while neglecting their duty to God. They sought to escape poverty by not building and thus keep their money to themselves. God was not punishing them because they neglected building, but because of their cheating. Instead of cheating God, they had only been cheating themselves. The verbs are in infinitive form, implying a continuing state of want. You have sown much and continually bring in little. You eat, but you never have enough. You drink, but are never filled with drink. You clothe you, but there is none who is ever warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. God is saying that he would be favorable to supplicants in the temple and receive the honor due to him, which had been withheld by neglecting the temple, which is the sign of his presence. You looked so as to turn your eyes too much. The Hebrew infinitive here expresses continued looking. The people hoped to increase their own possession by neglecting the temple, but when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Even the little crop the people harvested and stored in their barns, God scattered. I did blow upon it, that is, God scattered and caused it to perish with his mere breath, as with scattered and blighted wheat. They have let his house be waste, and he will send a drought on all that is theirs. This would affect not only the crops, but also men and cattle. The labor of the hands refers to the fruit of the lands, gardens, and vineyards obtained by labor of their hands. The people heard the message and responded with heartfelt obedience, even though the work on the temple had not yet begun. The Hebrew davar, in this case, refers to the word of the Lord. The word of the Lord is the essential content of God's revelation through his prophets or messengers. The Lord's messengers, Hebrew malach, generally depicts an ambassador who carries a message or performs some specific commission or serves as a representative of the one who sent him. God's message delivered by Haggai was four simple but profound words: I am with you. It is a promise of God's ever-present empowerment to all those he commissions to service. The people's attitudes had changed, and even before they actually set to work, God's tone changes at once from reproving tenderness. He immediately forgets their past unfaithfulness and assures them that their obedience leads to blessing. The Lord stirred up the spirit, that is, God gluts them with enthusiasm and perseverance to complete the good work, though they had been slothful. So here's our lesson. In today's lesson, the Lord of hosts reveals to his people their disobedience, and they acknowledge it. They acknowledged their disobedience and moved on to do great things in the kingdom. Do we have the same attitude as the children of Israel? And if we do, let's try seeking God's help today.